We watch movies for entertainment, and these come along with laughter, sadness with a fusion of background music, but it can also be a total knockoff if not executed perfectly. So, let's get it on and dive in some of Marvel's Spider-Man improvised scenes. Peter Parker and Tony Stark hug. Stark Industries' Tony is a proud billionaire that doesn't like having attachments with people, and we see that in this Spider-Man Homecoming scene. After having a discussion in Tony's car, Peter leans in to hug him, while Tony, on the other hand, is reaching over to open the car door behind. Tony doesn't respond to the hug. He instead says that's not a hug, him just trying to open the door for you. Sorry, Peter. Guess you won't try that again. But in fact, this moment wasn't scripted, as we see the two both find it hilarious in this behind-the-scenes clip. However, just like a star he is, Robert Downey Jr. played along during the shoot, and that made the scene awesome. Infinity War BLIP scene. Talk about awesomeness. These two still pulled it off when we watch Peter desperately chanting, "I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go Stark." In Infinity War's BLIP scene as he slowly disintegrates into dust while hanging onto Tony's chest. This is truly an emotional scene watching, as we listen to Peter's cry, and finally we get to see Tony Stark all emotional. Not the sarcastic, proud billionaire we know. I guess he has a soft spot for the kid. This is another sign of great teamwork from these two actors, Peter Parker and Mary Jane. Incredible is what I call it when we see Tom and Zendaya together on a scene. Thanks to their on- and off-screen friendship, sources say it's one of the reasons they act well together in this movie. Tom's talented brain keeps getting him off the script in search of new ideas, and it turns off Zendaya sometimes, but she always gets back on track to pull off whatever stunt Peter has. We see this more clearly when Jacob BATALON, aka Ned, continues to affirm this in a Spider-Man Far From Home scene where Peter Parker is changing into his Spider-Man suit with Mary Jane inside his room. Ned walks in surprise to see Peter changing into the Spider-Man costume. He tries to play it off, calling the suit a costume for a costume party so that Jane doesn't ask questions. Ned, not knowing Mary Jane, already figured out Peter's secret. We all see how these three being in sync and bonding makes magic on set. Mysterio. Having a villain with no powers in a superhero movie also made this a marvel. Get it? I mean, who has ever thought of that before? Loved it in a scene when Mysterio shouts, "Somebody gets this stupid costume off me." Jake, seriously, how did the costume get on you? Anyway, I'm sure nobody knew he'd turn into a villain, including Jake himself. He had no idea that was going to happen. This element of surprise is another form of improvised scenes, but this time around from director John Watts. Although we don't know which moments they were exactly, Gyllenhaal still pulled off the act. Once again, Marvel Studios continue to prove it's full of surprises. Director John Watts and Jake came through on this role that no one saw coming. Spider-Man and Nick Fury. Bitch please, you've been to space. Another improvised scene from Nick Fury when Spider-Man hesitates to join one of their plans in the Spider-Man Far From Home movie. Samuel L. Jackson once again proves to be a great actor. With that tough reply, I guess Nick really got that Fury. That really stood out for an improvised scene. Drax in Infinity War. "Why's Gamora?" is what Drax says instead of "Where's Gamora?" Funny as it is, surprisingly the whole crew plays along as we see Dave Bautista ad-libs the line, but the camera keeps rolling with no cut from the director. The whole crew in this scene is professional, including Tom Holland, to the extent that they just keep rolling. You even notice that the camera guy steadily keeps taking different shots of all characters in play despite the ad-lib. Tom Holland and Jacob BATALON. Away from the movie scenes, these two actors came in contact before the actual shooting and became so close, with no script access prior to the shootings. These two just had normal conversations at the time of shooting, and thanks to their friendship, it became natural in front of the camera that they didn't have to get the scripted words right. It's not a must for directors to always follow the script when shooting. Sometimes you have to let actors have fun plus enjoy the game they are playing, and you'll be so surprised by what they'll put on the table. These are what we call naturals. Ned dating Betty. "Betty, I would totally kiss you, but I think I just threw up in my mouth. Just a little. Ned, I, stammering, might have a mint." This line is also a natural off the script acted by Jacob as Ned and Rice as Betty. We look at the two having a funny, romantic moment. This also comes up due to the fact that Jacob's character is hilarious for him to fit in those funny moments or scenes. It's his character that makes it easy for Tom and Rice to work with him as naturals off the script, and still delivers something really good. Good job, Jacob. Aunt May and Peter Parker. Just like the previous improvised scenes, this too was not on the script. Most of the lines by Aunt May and Peter Parker were just ideas from the director. With just a few words and direction from John Watts, these two made magic happen. For example, in a scene where the two are seated in a restaurant having a meal. Moments like these, and so many others, where Aunt May acts a mother figure to Peter, while he's acting the good son, all happened because they were given space and freedom to grow on their own. These and many others are what make improvised scenes fantastic. London location. Talk about fantastic. Word has it that off the cast, our topic also came to the attention of the crew members, where they had to shoot different locations in London but had them fixed in one scene according to a Screen Rant. This was actually a big surprise, plus a lesson for other creatives. Imagine having shots from, let's say, Barcelona and adding them in a London shot scene. This takes lots of practice and not forgetting experience, so don't try this if you're a startup on a movie project. Got it. This is portrayed in the Spiderman Far From Home final London Tower battle scene in the movie. We get to see that so many locations were shot and improvised to have them put in this one scene that you couldn't notice it was from different places. Peter Parker and Tony Stark. While Iron Man has a talk with Doctor Strange about their Infinity War mission, Peter comes in to be part of it, but Iron Man blows him off. In this scene, Peter says, "I'm back up," and Iron Man replies, "No, you're still young. The adults are still talking." This is one of my favorite highlights, yet it was improvised. Another perfect combination from Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. Michael Keaton and Tom Holland. Michael Keaton acts as both a villain plus Mary Jane's dad. His role in Spider-Man Homecoming gave him a spotlight, but talk about knockoffs. One of his ad-libs didn't do it well for me. Not quite sure if it wasn't intended or it was a mistake. This happens during their fight. Spider-Man says, "Because I'm Spider-Man," Keaton replies, "Because I'm Batman." This is where I find it funny, cause Keaton's role as a villain is Vulture, Mysterio. Since Jake Gyllenhaal's role wasn't really scripted a lot, I feel that his potential wasn't really exploited a lot. With the director giving him space to shine in every way, he could have done better, which comes to show you that not all improvised scenes make it work. Remember when I told you that they can be knockoffs? Yep, this is one of them, and not everything is always good. There's always a downside to it. No one's perfect, as the saying goes. However, improvised moments, or call them unscripted scenes, can be beautiful pieces if there's great talent involved in teamwork, which frankly Tom Holland and Robert Downey Jr. portrayed. If all the actors, actresses plus also crew members work as a team, any scene will be on point. It doesn't have to stick to only the role play, but can also be fictional from editors, as long as there's continuity in that movie. So that's all, fans. From us to you, if you have great Spider-Man improvised scenes that we didn't showcase, you can always contact us to have them shared, and we'll definitely consider having them here. Love y'all. Till next time.